to get in! Stop them! Do something, Aiden!
Welcome back to Subculture Times. I'm Raphael with a review for Beyond Two Souls. However, before getting to the game, I'd like to discuss the changes made to the review process. If you've watched our past reviews, which you probably did, but that's okay, we're still here, then you've noticed we use the 1 to 5 scale to score our games. However, in a recent SCT discussion, someone brought up a website that reviewed games in depth without giving it a score. I was intrigued by this thought because it not only breaks away from the stereotypical reviewer, but it treats the game closer to art rather than emphasizing it as a commodity only to be qualified by some arbitrary number. Now that's not just to say we're going to nitpick on the good things in this game, but by leaving this review scoreless, hopefully this type of review will change how games are perceived. So without much else, let's get to the review.
If I had to say how it all began, I might just as well start here.
From the folks who brought you Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls is the latest release from Quantum Dream. The story surrounds Jodie Holmes, a woman whose entire life is bound to the lingering entity she calls Aiden. Aiden's presence has not only guaranteed Jodie's constant surveillance, but Jodie's powers mark her as a pariah amongst the world.
Hey, Jodie. Good? I hate to bother you when you're playing and all, but I believe it's time, honey.
None, least of all Jodie herself, understand the mysterious being or its origins, and it consequently erupts prejudices of danger and caution from all of those around them. Beyond Two Souls is first and foremost a modern Bildungsroman about Jodie. The game takes place throughout moments in her life, offering glimpses into her troubled childhood, her military training, and even her time spent homeless. The narrative also unravels in non-sequence. 1 minute, players will control Jodie, say at a grand soiree of military officials, only to then find her within the next half hour as a teenager arriving at a birthday party.
Hey, Jodie, come in.
Hi.
Hey, Kirsten, you come in? I gotta go.
This form is initially convoluted in regards to telling a cohesive tale, but the plot itself is an enigma meant to be uncovered by the player throughout the course of the game. It helps that the story gracefully transitions from one segment to the next. In creating this non-sequential narrative, Quantum Dream accomplishes several impressive feats. Beyond Two Souls rightfully balances action and suspense versus slower and more thoughtful moments. The flow from suspense to stealth to dialogue or vice versa are captivating respites puzzle pieced together within a grand narrative. And Beyond Two Souls incorporates the space beautifully and artistically into its story.
Shit! That's her! That's her!
The broken timeline also perfectly reflects the plot as a coming-of-age story. Beyond Two Souls achieves this by highlighting impactful phases in Jodie's life. The always looming consequences of the journey offer deep and meaningful re-examinations of her character. What serves as truth one moment is completely shattered in the next.
Did you see that? She nearly killed me. You saw what she did to me? She's a witch. A dirty, rotten witch.
Quantum Dream breathes life into Jodie, her character, and the journey, making Beyond Two Souls' already excellent narrative and characters that much more significant. Of course, the power of a strong video game narrative depends on the strength of its actors as much as its gameplay. 2013 already boasts several top-quality AAA titles, all of them sporting excellent voice work and motion capture. Beyond Two Souls, however, easily sets a new standard. In tandem, the motion capture and voice work fall nothing short of cinematic bliss.
Teams came back. They called and asked for your help. I told them you were just a child, that it was too dangerous. But they know only you know how to deal with what lies beyond the rift.
Ellen Page is the fulcrum to Beyond Two Souls. Now, while Quantum Dream director David Cage said he wrote the main protagonist with Ellen Page in mind, she is the embodiment and the essence of Jodie Holmes' character. The moments of happiness, life, death, despair, and confusion are portrayed to such a perfect pitch, Ellen Page often overshadows her fellow actors and actresses. This is not a slight to her fellow cast members, however. In fact, Willem Dafoe honors the game with a stellar performance as Nathan Dawkins.
Get back to them immediately, you hear me? You've got to stop them! Goddamn fools.
And even some of the more minor characters, such as Kadeem Hardison and David Coburn, demonstrate their excellent acting prowess through their characters.
I'm empty without you, my love. I'm so empty.
Beyond Two Souls blur the very lines between video games and movies. It's sometimes easy to forget you're playing a video game because the transitions between cutscenes to gameplay are cohesive and seamless. Adding to the cinematic aesthetic of Beyond Two Souls, the visuals, the environments, and the characters all look amazing. Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe, through the extensive motion capture, are technologically mirrored within the game. The digital avatars bear such a close resemblance to the real-life actors. But even with motion capture and green screens, Beyond Two Souls meshes a graphically polished world with the grime of a mature narrative. The end consequence is a noir-like painted America. Landscapes are stunning, yet whether the suburbs, Arizona desert, or snow-white cities, Quantum Dream manages to craft these locales to reflect its darker themes. Those unfamiliar with Quantum Dream's track record may be surprised to find Beyond Two Souls a game lacking gameplay. It's true the majority of gameplay consists of navigating Jodie, quick-time events, traversing around a room as Aiden to tip something over, and using the face buttons to decide what kind of response Jodie should give to another character. But Beyond Two Souls is first and foremost driven by its narrative. The gameplay is only secondary, supplementing the experience of Jodie's adventure. Quantum Dream reinforces its concept through two difficulty settings at the main menu, one of those settings being geared to an audience who do not play games often or at all. This aside, Beyond Two Souls follows the suit of Quantum Dream's previous title, Heavy Rain. Players, as Jodie, navigate the game space interacting with people and sometimes items to forward the narrative. At almost any time, players can control Aiden. Aiden can shift through walls, manipulate objects, and sometimes possess the weak-minded. Players will control Jodie for the majority of the game, but will often have to switch between Aiden and her to solve smaller puzzles. The other mechanics of gameplay revolve around quick-time events. Some actions require players to press the right series of buttons to complete a segment, while the right sticks and sometimes the 6-axis is used in combat sequences. The combat system may seem simple, but it's handled really well and looks extremely stylish. Beyond Two Souls does a better job than Heavy Rain in managing frivolous gameplay. While there are a few moments Jodie is able to roam around, trifling through everyday items, it doesn't become a chore to progress through the game. Instead, interacting with the environment often proves to unveil more about the world and the characters in Beyond Two Souls.
Help me, Aiden.
Beyond Two Souls will immerse and envelop players into the experience. Sure, there are those that say the gameplay is limited, however the mechanics of controlling Aiden and the QuickTime events are again meant to supplement the narrative. Beyond Two Souls is an impactful journey brought on by crisp, fantastic visuals, the deep, compelling narrative, high-quality voice work and acting, and the balanced pace throughout the entire game. Again, there is less of an emphasis in gameplay in Beyond Two Souls, but it's this nuance that seems to be reoccurring in more modern games. If players can look beyond this style, no pun intended, Beyond Two Souls will provide an excellent and profound narrative that will enrapture players. If you play Beyond Two Souls, let us know in the comments below what you think about it. Could it be considered a cinematic masterpiece? Or perhaps you couldn't find it engaging because the controls weren't there to keep the players occupied. Feel free to let us know what you felt about Beyond Two Souls and perhaps the cinematic direction games are taking today. So that's all for this review. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's stay tuned for Subculture.
Sorry eyes, they cut through the bone, make it hard to leave you alone. They leave you here, wearing your wounds, Baby, you're